Welcome back, everybody, to the Get Fit ASAP podcast. I'm Anthony. I'm your host. And today we're going to be talking about the vertical diet. So, I first heard about the vertical diet on social media, I believe. And I'm not sure what post it was exactly, but I think they were making one of their famous meals called the Monster Mash. And it was kind of bizarre, something I've never seen before, so it kind of intrigued me. And then I also heard or saw a couple CrossFit people post about it too, and I was like, I wonder what this is. So I searched it, looked it up. It was created by Stan Efferding, and he's a pro bodybuilder and I believe a pro powerlifter. Pretty smart guy, very articulate when he talks. Did a lot of research and basically, he said, compiled this diet over 30 years of training and basically just trying to work on his performance, really. But I bought his vertical diet peak performance training manual just to do some more research on it. I'm actually going to start it next week, so I'm just going to kind of give you guys a little brief, what it's about and what it entails. And then next week I'll do like a little update about how it's going for me, and keep you guys posted and see how it goes. I think the main thing with picking a diet is you just gotta really pick something that's sustainable and something that you can stay consistent with, because that's the main thing. If you're always on some kind of diet where you're gonna always go off of it or cheat or blah blah, it's never gonna work for you. Or if you're thinking about, I just need to lose 10 pounds and I'll go back to, eating what I like, you're just going to keep going or fluctuating back and forth to where you're not happy, and then you dial down your diet and then you get happy again, but it's not sustainable, so you keep fluctuating back and forth, which is just irritating and, wastes a lot of time and kind of sucks. But basically, we'll just kind of get into it now. So basically, he starts out by saying the vertical diet is not supposed to be some magical blend of macronutrient percentages. It's not some miraculous superfood or supplement protocol or a restriction or starvation diet, and it's not complicated. What he does say it's based on whole foods, based on optimizing your gut health, correcting nutrient deficiencies, correcting hormone imbalances, improving energy, stamina, endurance, and recovery, and then also it's based on a sustainable lifestyle. Now, when you're doing the vertical diet, it could be customized to low carb, high carb, intermittent fasting, even paleo. I'm not going to give you everything that's in the manual because, if you really want to go into it, just obviously go buy it and you can search all the little things. I don't want to, give away all the secrets that he tries to sell. In this manual, he has a bunch of cited references from doctors and stuff like that about each claim or each thing that he's saying, just to solidify what he's saying. Because, especially in different diets, there's so many things and so much research out there that conflicts each other. It's kind of hard to know what's right and know what's wrong. Honestly, it's confusing sometimes. So all you can do is read these articles and read these studies and these clinicals, and then make your own decision on it, or try it out and then see how it goes too. So that's what I'm really looking forward to, is actually trying it out and seeing how it goes. I know Stan, when he's actually doing this or creating this diet, he did monthly blood tests. I'm not sure how many years he did that for, but he would add certain foods in, do his monthly blood test, and then see what actually was helping his blood work. So at least it's, you're getting actually evidence of it actually working or not working. So what actually is the vertical diet, or what kind of foods you're eating, or how is it put together? Basically, you're going to have this horizontal line, basically your foundation. And now these foods are basically to get all your micronutrients and vitamins and minerals that you need throughout the day, your daily requirement of it. And then after you hit those requirements for the day, you want to go vertically by adding basically meat and white rice, because they're easily digested, and we'll get into more benefits of it now. But with your horizontal, your foundation, basically you want daily lean red meat, so bison, top sirloin, New York, filet, lamb, etc., etc. You also want to 2 times weekly, you want to eat some salmon to get your omega-3s. You want to have a daily raw carrot, which is kind of funny because you just eat 1 carrot. But like I said, you eat everything that has on this list is for a reason, to get a certain micronutrient. So it does sound like like a few random things, but in the big picture, you're getting all these nutrients and all the vitamins and minerals that you need from different sources. He basically says with the carrot, you don't want to cook them because they lose their fiber content necessary to shuttle out toxins out of the system. You want to have daily orange juice or an orange. It's an anti-estrogen, and it has vitamins and minerals and liver stimulant. Daily cooked spinach and peppers. Okay, so we're getting little vegetables in there. He picks those because they're not a gassy vegetable. Also, I don't know if I said it before, but with the vertical diet, a big thing is your gut health and your digestive system, and trying to be as healthy as possible with that. And that's actually a big part of why I picked this one, or picked to try the vertical diet. The first thing was like I really like red meat and white rice and all the other things. I basically really like those foods, so it's going to be easy to eat for me. And then also was the gut health, because ever since I had an appendectomy, it was probably I was in high school, so like 10 years ago, I've had a really bad heartburn. And that's why anyone that knows me knows I don't like to drink that much because it makes my stomach hurt. And then I don't like any spicy foods. People talk crap to me about that. But man, if I do any of that stuff, it just jacks my stomach up. And so I went to the doctor for it, and of course he, just gave me some pill to take, some anti-acid pill. But I basically have to take it every day, and I'm like, dude, this is not. I don't think this is healthy for you. Like, there's got to be, what's the problem here? Because I eat pretty healthy, I do use it as an excuse to eat bad because I'm trying to gain weight. So I will eat burritos and pizza and stuff like that, which isn't the best for you. But I get lazy, and I'll use that as an excuse to say, oh, I need to gain weight, so it's more calories, which really isn't a good excuse. It's just me being lazy. But I actually read an article on here. Let me finish the horizontal foods first, and I'll go back and talk to you about the heartburn, or whatever you want to call it, acid reflux. But after that, you want to 2 to 4 times daily getting chicken broth, which is going to help your gut health also. Let me see what else we got here. Daily 4 ounce, or 8 ounces total in a day of pure cranberry juice, and that's juice not from the concentrate. It's actually going to be pure cranberry juice, and that's because it has iodine, antioxidants, tannins for the bladder, and then what else we got here? We got sweet potato from the prebiotics and the potassium and vitamins, and then also daily cod liver oil. Next up was your daily dairy source. Now, he does mention that if you're lactose, to not pick this. He does mention also that if any of these foods are giving you indigestion or bloating, to cut them out, because everyone's a little bit different and has different tolerances to different things. So depending on what's making your body inflamed, or like I said, bloated, or indigestion, cut those out. But he said if you can, you want to get some hard cheese, so like cheddar, and some full fat plain Greek yogurt for calories and vitamin D. Also the probiotics that's going to give you, it's going to help your digestive tract again. Also, dairy is a primary source for calcium, so you get the calcium you need for the day. He goes on to say you're going to need your daily eggs. He says 2 eggs, and then always have at least 1 or 2 yolks if you're going to eat egg whites. And then, let me see here, daily grass-fed butter. He really advocates using the grass-fed butter for your cooking rather than your oil. He goes into how bad canola oil and those other oils are for cooking. And he actually says that he has a intolerance to it. And when he eats anything that's cooked with that stuff, he has like bad diarrhea where he has to run to the toilet. So I don't know if you guys watch Dumb and Dumber, but he said legs up, grabbing onto the ADA bar, diarrhea. So just give you a little visual there. But I don't know if I have that. I don't think I have that intolerance for it. But it really affects him. So, but yeah, that's basically it. He does have daily 10 almonds for potassium. And then if you wanted to eat bread, to eat a fermented bread such as sourdough, because like I said again, going back to the digestive help. So once you get those horizontal foods, basically the combination of all those foods, you're getting all your micronutrients, and you're getting all your vitamins from the different foods. Once you have those, to fulfill your calorie needs now, you want to go vertical with lean meat and white rice. And vertical just means the more that you need. So basically what he says is when you get in better shape, you get bigger, you gain more muscle, or your volume goes up in training. Say for example, when you start working out, maybe you only do 3 days a week, an hour a day, right? And then once your volume goes up, maybe you're doing 4 days, maybe you're doing 5 days, maybe 6 days, then maybe you start doing double days. So your GPP is going to go up, and you basically need more calories to fuel you. So that's why you wouldn't add more of those horizontal foods, because you're getting your daily needs of your vitamins and minerals. You want to just go vertical with lean meat and white rice, because that's going to fuel you, and they're really, really easy to digest and really easy to eat. So say for example, rather than eating, he says, I think 1 potato, rather than eating 5 potatoes, which is going to be a lot harder to digest, is going to give you, bloating and indigestion, and it's really not going to, the excess vitamins and minerals you need, it's not going to help anything. So he says to get your calories you need to eat white rice and lean red meats. So that's what the vertical part of, I actually just didn't really know what that meant until I read this, or read the whole manual. I was like, oh, that's why they call it the vertical diet. So like for the white rice, he says, after utilizing fruit for its health impacts and metabolism boosting effects, and a potato for the micronutrients and prebiotic benefit, he wants to use white rice as the primary driver of carbs to fuel and recover from workouts. And now he said he chooses white rice because it's easy to digest, and then it's compared to large quantities of other carbs, and it's also easy to eat if you're not hungry. It's easier to put it down basically, and then like wheat, pasta, oatmeal, and brown rice, and some of the more gassier vegetables are going to wreak havoc on your digestive tract. So kind of going back to my stomach problems, which I thought was very interesting, that was actually in this thing, was it had a whole article about stomach acid and a bunch of cited work on it. But basically what I got from it was so acid reflux, or whatever you want to call it, there's a bunch of things that they call it, is because you actually don't have enough acid in your stomach, which I'm like, what? That doesn't make sense, when you first hear it. I obviously have too much acid, it's coming up my throat or making my stomach upset. But the studies I read that he has cited in here basically says, so you're eating the food, or whatever food you're eating, and it's hard to digest, and you don't have enough acid in your stomach, so it's not fully getting digested, and then that food is basically going into your intestines, and it's not decomposed correctly, and then your intestines is basically decomposing it, and it's making a bunch of gas and indigestion, And from that indigestion or gas, it's pushing your stomach up, because obviously you feel bloated, and from pushing your stomach up, it's actually pushing the acid up, which is funny, because then obviously you think you have heartburn because there's too much acid in your stomach, so you take a pill, and then the pill actually cuts down more acid, so then the food that you're eating is actually getting less digested again, and it's kind of a circle effect or domino effect. I thought that was really interesting because, like I said, I've been suffering it for years and years, and I've never heard anything about that. Obviously, it's probably my fault because I haven't done any research on it, because I just went to the doctor and figured, they know what they're talking about. But, maybe they don't. I think it's up to all of us to actually do research on stuff and then make our own decision on it. But I just know that what I'm doing right now isn't working, and I need to make a change. So, he goes on to say, part of the success of the vertical diet is focused on improving the amount of acid in your stomach to help digest food. Because you do eat a lot of meat, and he says meat protein stimulates stomach acidity by triggering the production of hydrochloric acid. So anyone suffering from bad acid reflux or anything like that, even IBS, he actually talks about IBS too in the FODMAP, and then how to help with that. But this maybe is a good diet for you, so maybe we'll give this a try and see how it works for you. But basically now I'll just kind of touch on some things that I thought were interesting in here, kind of like little just random facts. Like I said, I don't want to give away his whole manual because I feel like it's not fair for him. But I'll also tag some or link some videos to him talking about it, and actually going over like a day of him cooking for it, and he'll give you a lot more details too. And then you can go just search it on YouTube or Google, and then you'll get even more stuff. This is kind of just a little teaser, and then to tell you what's why I picked it and why I'm going to do it. So the first thing I would say is the first thing that made it or was kind of funny was salt. And he wants you to salt all your meals, which is funny because usually you hear that salt's bad for you and don't salt anything because there's so much sodium in all the foods that we eat. But basically, there's a bunch of sodiums in the processed foods that we eat. In this diet, there's not a lot of processed foods because they use that salt as a preservative in processed foods. But he goes on to say that basically like pink Himalayan salt or Red Mountain real salt, these salts have iodine in them, and then iodine's a powerful stimulant for your thyroid, and then also improves the immune system by ridding toxins from the body, such as fluoride, chlorine, etc. He also goes on to say that athletes sweat out a lot of iodine during exercise, and then are actually more likely to become iodine deficient than sedentary people. Because obviously athletes are sweating more and losing more of those electrolytes. So also with iodine is that's why he has to drink the cranberry juice. The cranberry juice basically every 4 ounces has 400 milligrams of iodine. Let me see here. Wild caught cod, 4 ounces of that is basically 100. So you can see that the cranberry is a lot bigger bang for your buck. Yogurt, 8 ounces of yogurt is 90. Raw milk is 8 ounces is 45. So but the Himalayan crystal salt, 1 gram is 500. So like I said, that and cranberry juice, you're gonna get a lot of bang for your buck. Let's see here. He goes on to say about cranberry juice. He goes on to say, that's an excellent source of iodine and also antioxidants and tannins for your urinary tract. He also goes on to say, when you first start salting your meals, you may gain a few extra pounds of water weight, but it's going to drop off within a week when your body realizes you're not restricting the sodium anymore. There's a small, he says there's a small percentage of people that are salt sensitive, so he says to monitor your water retention and blood pressure when you're introducing salt. But generally speaking, for athlete training daily, he wants to shoot for at least 8 grams of sodium from all sources basically, and then for every gallon of water consumed. And that's counting like bone broth and orange juice and milk and water. But he just says to salt your food to taste. You can also add more from a tablet, but I mean, I don't think that's really necessary. You should be able to just salt your food and be okay. Another thing I thought was interesting is he says he doesn't like to drink a substantial amount of water with meals because it actually dilutes the stomach acids needed to effectively digest food, which I thought that was huge because I freaking always drink a bunch of water when I'm eating, and because I thought it would help, it'd break down the food or make this food softer so it'd get broken down easier, but that is not the case, it sounds like. He also goes on to say about your post-workout drink. Everyone thinks about drinking protein right after the workouts, but he goes on to state that he likes to quickly replace what your body uses during that hard training, which is mostly water, sodium, and glycogen. And he said basically 30 minutes after that you could get some protein source or a real meal. But he says Conor McGregor, John Jones, and Cyborg's nutritionist, so those are all MMA fighters. George Lockhart, that's what he uses, and then also Mike Dolce of the UFC also. But basically he says you want to get 25 grams of fructose, 50 grams of dextrose, and then 600 to 1,000 milligrams of sodium, which is basically a half teaspoon of pink salt. So not much, but salt is very powerful. And then also, if you wanted to, you can get 100 milligrams of caffeine to help bring those nutrients to the muscles faster. He actually says you don't want to drink caffeine before your workout. So I thought that was funny too, because probably 95% of people are going to drink that caffeine before the workouts, not after. Another thing he says is, caffeine is basically, if you need caffeine, it's because your diet or your sleep or your recovery is not up to par. You're basically masking the problem. Another cool thing he goes on to say is he likes to do 10-minute walks after his meals, which I thought was interesting because I never heard that before. But he recommends a 10-minute walk, whether dieting to lose weight or actually to gain weight, strength, and size. But a brisk 10-minute walk after each 2 to 4 meals of your day greatly improves insulin sensitivity and also decreases gas, improves digestion, and decreases DOMS, so delayed onset muscle soreness, and then also aids in recovery. He also says, 3 10-minute walks is superior to 1 30-minute walk per day. Then he also goes on to cite an article about that, or a study about that. He also goes on to say that, it's a double-edged sword when you're trying to eliminate stuff from your diet to make your gut feel better, because you can't eliminate too many things, because you still need to get, those nutrients, and you don't want to be nutrient deficient from cutting out too many things. So there's a fine line between finding out what doesn't mess your stomach up, but what's keeping you healthy. And that's what really he's trying to do with the vertical diet, is trying to find that fine line between getting all your nutrients and then also trying to have the best gut health possible. He also didn't want to rely on supplements to get those micronutrients. He wanted to get them from all whole foods and naturally. And then if you were deficient in something, or you needed some extra stuff, you could always take those vitamins. But he wants to be able to fulfill those just with the whole foods. He also hits on burning calories throughout the day, which I thought was a really interesting thing. What he goes into is how your body actually burns calories, or what it burns it on. So 70% of your daily calories burned are resting. So basically your BMR, which I thought was whoa, wow, 70%. I always know when you get on the scale or do a body scan, it tells you your BMR, and it's 1,500 calories or whatever it is. You don't really, I never really actually thought about it. It's wow, it's actually a lot of calories when you're not just living, So I thought that was pretty interesting. Also, it says 15% of your daily calories are burned from daily activities, not exercise related. So say just walking from, down the stairs at work, or say you're walking to the refrigerator or the bathroom or whatever like that. Maybe just from standing too. And then 10% of your daily calories are burned from actually eating food. And he said protein actually burns more calories than fats and carbs because it takes more effort to break it down, which I thought was funny too, because I never would have guessed that or thought about that. And then he said actually only 5% of your daily calories burned are from exercise. So it's funny because whenever someone wants to lose weight faster or burn more calories, the first thing they want to go to is exercise, but that's the least bang for your buck. And he actually goes on to burn more calories daily. The solution is to maximize fat loss as follows. Number one being increase your BMR. And so by lifting weights or adding more muscle to your body, you're going to burn more calories while you rest. And people don't really think about that. But that's a great way to burn more calories without really literally doing anything. It's when you're resting. The next one would be trying to burn calories to lose fat, stay active throughout the day. So don't sit or remain idle when you're awake. And then also stay on your feet and keep busy. And then don't underestimate how valuable this can be. Number 3 would be eat a high protein diet, generally 1 gram per body pound. And then also eat frequent meals. And then number 3 would be, like you said, protein actually burns more calories when it gets digested than fats or carbs. So eat a high protein diet and eat frequent meals so you don't create a protein deficit. And then the last one, number 4, would be exercise. He also says to get blood tests because you can see what you're deficient in and what you need to add or take away from your diet, which I thought was really helpful. He gives you a whole link of how to go find a lab to do that. I actually went and looked it up, and it was about $400. So I'm gonna wait a little bit on that, but I definitely want to have it done just to get it done and to see what I'm actually what's in my body. But a little bit pricey if you don't have that budgeted in. But I think it's gonna be really beneficial to do it though. He also goes on and talked about your immune system and getting sick and having colds, and the vertical diet focuses on improving your gut health and basically your immune system by eliminating the sources of the problem, toxins, anti-nutrients, etc., and then optimizing the body's ability to stay healthy for giving it what it needs to do. Adequate sleep, salt, iodine, vitamin B3, and many other necessary macronutrients. He goes on to say that users of the vertical diet also will realize a significant improvement in health and experience fewer colds, and then less often, and also decreased duration and intensity of them. Also, everyone always asks, why not chicken? Why is it red meat? Why is steak better than chicken? And he basically goes on to say that steak is a better source of micronutrients, particularly iron, creatine, and vitamin B12. And he always says there's a good, better, best scenario where he's always going to pick the best option available, which happens to be red meat. And then he goes on to say pasture-fed chickens and their eggs have much less polyfats, but pasture-fed is rare. And then also organic and cage-free are not the same as pasture-fed. Chicken and turkey are also only alive for a few months, and then primarily eat soy. So the meat is high in polysaturated fats. Also, who knows what goes into a commercial turkey grinder? He puts quotation, think beaks and buttholes. So yeah. Then he also goes on to say commercially fed cows are still weaned from their mother's milk and fattened on corn. They're alive much longer, eating much more and compiling more nutrient density in their meat. They also have 5 stomachs, which handles the vegetable digestion and takes care of most of the methane production, so you don't have to, which I thought was interesting. He goes on more about that too in some of his articles that you can read on, but I thought that was really interesting. He does go on to say though that he prefers chicken broth over beef broth. He likes broth because it really helps in the digestive process. But he actually picks chicken over beef because the chicken has more joints and you get more collagen from it. from the ligaments rather than a long bone, say, you know, of a cow leg or whatever. It's only, you're not going to get many joints on it. So I thought that was interesting. And then finally, at the end of his book or training plan, he basically gives you a bunch of examples of meals to make and stuff like that. I won't really give those away, but if you want to get more on that, on his with the links or the videos I linked up, you can go and watch those. And he'll give you a bunch of ideas if you wanted to try it. It's really simple, guys. It's not too hard. Like I said, like literally after you eat those horizontal foods, those base foods, it's literally just adding steak and rice, or not steak, but red meat and rice. So really simple. It kind of, you know, can get monotonous. So I'm curious to see how if I get tired of eating the same thing. But honestly, I really do like red meat more than anything. I could literally probably eat that every day. Actually, I probably do already right now, but I don't think I'll get tired of that. And maybe if I do, maybe I have to season it a little bit different, or, you know, switch to bison or something like that. Or usually I just eat steak right now, but maybe I'm eating more ground meat, or I don't know. I'm curious to try it out and see how it goes. But that's basically all I got for you guys today. If you have any questions, please comment and then let me know. Like I said, I'm going to do a follow-up video on this and then let you know how my experience is going with it. Let you know if my stomach's feeling better. I'm really going to be really strict on it and see how it goes. So I'm hoping this helps my stomach out and then also helps my performance out. But thanks for tuning in, guys, and I'll see you next week.